Hi guys, Aaron Wilson. I'm at NRG Stadium, and we just spoke with Texas General Manager Nick Caserio with his open week or bye week press conference, kind of the state of the team, addressed several topics, and kind of want to go through some of the things that Nick had to say. I thought it was a productive press conference, and he was in a good mood. They're on a 2-game winning streak, and you can only imagine what it would have been like, if they were 0-5, but they're not. They're on a 2-game winning streak, whether they're playing the varsity of the NFL, the top teams or not. They still won 2 football games, and they have positioned themselves where they're at least in the hunt for potentially getting into this AFC South race. But they are looking up at the ladder at the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, who are both up to 4-1 starts. And the South Division, with the exception of the Titans, look like they're a little more competitive nationally in some of these games than people thought they would be. So starting right off, the first question I always get asked is about Joe Mixon. And as I said in my chat last night, sources have emphasized to me this is a tough, complicated foot-ankle issue. He sought outside medical procedures, non-surgical, to try to fix the foot issue. And he was in a walking boot and then a lace-up deal, and he made some progress over the summer. It has not gotten to a point, even though Nick Caserio said he's progressing, where they feel like they're committing to, yeah, he's definitely playing this year. He was non-committal again, and sources have reiterated to me that he is not being counted on for this season. So they've kind of moved forward. They're 16th in rushing offense with Nick Chubb, who they signed in kind of an emergency situation in the spring when it became clear how dire the medical situation was and how unclear it would be about Joe's recovery time. So they did that, and then they've hit, I think, very well in the 4th round with Woody Marks. So yeah, to give you the most information I can give you that I'm confident in Mixon. It doesn't look good, and as Nick said, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, they'll make a decision, quote, about the duration of the season. Just about the duration of the season, meaning, do you think he's going to play at all? Do you anticipate Joe Mixon playing football for the Texans this year? I don't anticipate that happening, and we'll see, if that does happen or not. But, in my opinion, a little mic issue here. In my opinion, I just don't, see this happening. I think that they've made their preparations. I was told by one source, they've already, kind of made their plans, and this is what they're going to do. Sort of some kind of miraculous recovery, unexpected return. This is where it is. So we'll see where it goes. Other topics, and obviously, Nick said he thought they were in a good spot. He expressed some optimism about the state of the offense, how Nick Caley's system is working. There was some back and forth about the similarities to that and the New England Patriots. Yes, it's very similar. And as Nick talked a lot about, because he was part of the coaching staff at one point before he got into scouting full time with the New England staff, working for Bill Belichick, that they have a evolved that offense over the years with Tom Brady. So what you see is just kind of a whole thing where this is a work in progress with the offense, but they made some strides these past couple of weeks. So yeah, the offense is really a fluid situation. A lot of praise for CJ Stroud. Thought CJ was doing well in terms of his understanding of the offense. I agree with that. I think he took some steps the next couple of weeks, and it's just a matter of how good can this offense be. It's an improvement league. Are they to get to the point where it's a very good offense or a solid offense or just a okay offense? We're still kind of trying to figure that out because they haven't faced the really tough competition the last couple of weeks. Honestly, it was kind of like the junior varsity. They're out there against the Titans. They're out there against a shorthanded Ravens team with the worst injury situation I've seen in recent NFL memory. It is awful for the Baltimore crew. So looking at other situations, he was asked about TJ Garner-Johnson. He didn't dwell on it. I mean, they've already moved on, as I reported. Friction behind the scenes, busted assignments, freelancing, some talk about things that he probably shouldn't talk about, like other players' contracts, including a guy that's actually playing very well. So yeah, that was the situation. He didn't get into any detail. You wouldn't expect that from any general manager in the NFL, but he said, took a shot, didn't work out. Okay. Then he was asked about the lost value in this Cam Robinson trade. And he said they weighed everything, they looked at it, and he, kind of reinforced that he feels like they have depth, that they have 4 starting tackles, meaning that he considers Blake Fisher and Trent Brown, who, Trent Brown's obviously a former Pro Bowl lineman who's now on the 53-man roster, but he's, someone that has started a lot of games before. He's not quite ready, but he'll get there, I think. And then Blake Fisher, they're finally getting something out of him, at least in the jumbo package. So, state of the team, kind of going over the offense at Arianti Ursary and the offensive line. Nick thought that the offensive line had made some strides. He sees progress. He's very, very, very high on Titus Howard. He's playing some of the best football he's played of his career. He really likes what he's seeing from Titus. Maybe Titus's tenure is going to be extended. He didn't say if he would, but I could see that happening. That's just my opinion, that Titus should be a long-term Texan. I think he deserves it. He's played very good football. He's been a leader. He was high on Ed Ingram. Ed's had some high grades. Ed has been a good run blocker. He's one of the highest-rated guys and guards, for Pro Football Focus in the NFL. And then he sees progress from Arianti Ursary, the rookie left tackle. They liked him. They traded to get him. So Ursary, now they got Juice Scruggs. They've got Jake Andrews. And the line, it sure looks a lot better, but we'll see when they're tested again. Are they truly better? I think that we need more information to really kind of know the state of the offense. He had a lot of praise for C.J. Stroud. C.J., to me, and I said this last week, had made strides, was getting in sync with Caley. Their collaboration is improving. They're getting to be more on the same page. It's a better-looking offense than it was, and it's a little more freewheeling. It's a little more fun. I like the misdirection plays. I think that he coaches them very well, and they execute them well, especially that touchdown to Jalen Noel, who got to keep the football. They tried to take away his football, Jair Alexander, after the Ray Lewis dance. That's Ray's rendition of the squirrel, but Ray's the one that made it popular. Ray's, people didn't know too much about the squirrel until Ray did that with the Nelly song, Hot in Here. So that was a staple of the Ravens, and it kind of shows where the Ravens stand. You got a rookie on his first NFL touchdown showing some swag and celebrating like that in their house. But hey, that's what you want. What do the players say? Walk into your trap and take over your trap. Yeah, I like that one. It's just, there's a difference in, when you can win on the road and when you can blow out a team on the road. That's when you might be, a team that's progressing and making yourself a good football team. Overall, I see some progress. I still think, the offensive line could get exposed at some point in terms of if they face an elite pass rush, if they face some really good players down the road. How will they be against George Karlaftis, for example, and the Chiefs and Stone Cold Chris Jones, who actually didn't play that well. Lack of hustle on the Trevor Lawrence touchdown where he falls down, gets up, and then scores. But anyway, as far as the defense, they're the top-ranked scoring defense, and with Matt Burke calling it, they've allowed 5 points average in the past 2 weeks. So progress being made on the defensive side of the football. They're getting a lot out of Derek Stingley Jr., and Jalen Petrie has 3 interceptions, tying him for the NFL lead. And DeMeco Ryans yesterday had a lot to say about the hard hitting. You saw that hit he had on Derrick Henry. You're just seeing some good football from Jalen Petrie. And overall, they're happy about that investment they made, the $42.6 million contract. So looking at other things, other topics that we got into, I asked about Jimmy Ward, asked about Jalen Reed, and I also wanted to know about Dina Quattrey. Sounds like Jalen Reed's a week or two away from them activating him. We'll see if he gets into the mix. I think MJ Stewart right now, he's going to be the starting safety. But we'll see, how do they get Reed in there? Do they have him up more special teams? Do they use him a little bit on defense? He's a promising young player, but he is a rookie and he's missed a lot of time with that sprained knee. Then going over to Jimmy Ward, he said it's going to take more time. That will take longer. As I reported, he had 2 foot surgeries, and Michael Ryans talked about how he was glad, it took a long time to resolve his legal matter with the grand jury declining to indict him, a no bill, meaning just the case dismissed. There was exculpatory evidence from text messages from the accuser that wound up exonerating him. And so, Jimmy has been in the building. He's working out. The other guys are practicing. So Dina Quattrey, and Jalen Reed, they were designated to return last week. Both had knee injuries. Autry's an older player. I think he could help them down the stretch. I don't think there has to be any rush for either of those players or Jimmy Ward. But Jimmy is a good insurance policy at safety, and he makes some big plays. So overall, you see willingness from the team to make changes. As DeMeco Ryans said, Christian Harris, nothing against him, but they're going to go with EJ Speed. And you saw Henry To'oTo'o, he missed a lot of tackles. You can check out the stats. When that happened, they put Speed in the lineup. When Laken Tomlinson was getting some low grades and being beat for a lot of pressures, they put in Juice Scruggs. So what I'm sensing is a real sense of urgency from the coaching staff and the personnel department to make those changes. Nick Caserio was asked about it's way down the road, contract extension possibilities for Will Anderson Jr. and C.J. Stroud. They're not allowed to negotiate until after this third NFL season, which is a pivotal year for both those guys, is completed. We'll just see, where does Anderson wind up in comparison to, say, an Aiden Hutchinson, and it's if they even do it this year. They don't have to do it this year. And does C.J. wind up in the $60 million range? He could, if he plays the way he did last week, 85%, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, certainly could earn himself a big payday. I don't think that anything's changing. I think the relationship between the Texans and Stroud is a good one. Him and Caley are starting to cook a little bit, and I had a lot of great feedback from the locker room, from Nico Collins and from Xavier Hutchinson and some of the linemen about CJ's demeanor, which D'Amico Ryans pointed out. So some good things happening with CJ, and overall just a step in the right direction for the offense. We'll just see, they have extra time to get ready for Seattle. Nick Caserio indicated they would not just look at Seattle, they'll look ahead. So that means the San Francisco 49ers, look at the Denver Broncos, getting ready for the weeks ahead, which are going to be a pivotal stretch. And we're going to know a lot more about the Texans. If they can beat Seattle and be 3-3, it's a whole new ball game for them in the division. But yeah, they can't just go 1-1, win one, lose one, or lose a few in a row. They do that, cancel the playoff talk, it won't happen. But right now, you have to take the Texans a little more seriously than we were a couple of weeks ago when they were 0-3. They're 2-3. Nobody's crowning anybody. We're just saying that they're playing better and they're making some progress. We'll see. Is that progress enough? And it's an improvement league, as everybody says. Are the Texans getting better enough, fast enough? I wonder. And I do see some, signs, a little glass half full. I'm not trying to be Joey Sunshine here, but I see, some things that are going in a better direction. From pass protection, the pass rush rate, according to Next Gen Stats, is now kind of in the middle the last couple of weeks. Running game, Nick Chubb looked pretty spry to me. That looked like a good move they've made. EJ Speed, obviously at linebacker. They are happy with the progress of Ursery. Still needs to continue to make more progress. But overall, this is a team that, if they can keep getting better and they can kind of tread water in the division race, maybe they'll be heard from in December. That defining stretch, the span, and I was talking with Randy McElvoy and Nick Mantis about this on the KPRC video that we did after the press conference. That's really going to be the stretch. That's when we're going to know. And we'll see. Where do they stand if they have a winning record at that point in the season? If they do, then I think they're in the mix and they can make the playoffs. To me, to get to the playoffs, though, they have to win the South Division. I don't know if their record's going to be good enough to get a wild card. But, Texans making progress, taking some steps. We'll see where it goes. But you could kind of see the mood of Nick Caserio, a good one. And even when he was jousting a little bit, some people going back and forth about Patriot stuff and why did you do this trade? Didn't seem real defensive to me. Of course, didn't go into any great detail. But it's just more the mood, the tenor of the press conference. Not being a podium critic, just what I thought that he was a straight shooter up there. And he was real accountable about everything with what's going on. But, I didn't disagree with a lot of his points. I thought there was a little bit of spin there about the tackle thing. I mean, I do think you paid Robinson. To me, keep him around. What if Ursery can't get it done, or if Ursery gets injured? You can't tell me that Robinson is worse than Trent Brown and Blake Fisher. I'm just not buying stock in that. But Texans 2-3 at the bye. We'll have some downtime. The players have some downtime. They have the next time off until Sunday. They'll return. Monday, there'll be no availability, no press conferences. Tuesday, we'll get back at it, and it'll be kind of like the Tampa Bay week schedule. Tuesday through Saturday, press conferences, practices, coverage from here. Please watch, like, subscribe. And we're at about 18,000, so proud of the number. Want to get to 19,000 and 20,000 after that. But, guys, thank you. Talk to you soon. And, please check me out also on Twitter /X, Aaron Wilson _NFL, Instagram, Aaron Wilson 7128. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, similar to kind of Cam's situation, kind of take the information. In the end, took a shot on goal, didn't work out, move on, and let's focus on, the rest of the team and the players that are here. So, there's really nothing more to it. I mean, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but that's the reality of the situation. So certainly wish him well. It's good to work with. In the end, that's a decision that we made, and moved ahead. I mean, I think there's an assumption that you pursued a trade, or didn't pursue a trade. I mean, we talk to teams all the time. So if a team's interested, we're always going to listen. If there's something there that makes sense, great. If there's not, then we figure out what the best course of action is. Yeah, Reed and Autry started practicing here last week, so I would say they're probably closer to playing than some others. J-Rock, probably, after another week or two, probably be available here at some point to practice. Jimmy's making progress, probably a little bit further out here, but he's been in the building working. And I think right now there's a little bit of gray just relative to Watson and Stover. At some point we'll see those players, probably not as definitive as it is with some of the other folks, Kurt as well. So, we have some depth kind of off the roster in some different categories. So, at some point when those players are available, the expectation is they're going to be ready to go here at some point and be able to help the team. Yeah, good attitude. Similar to Tay, there's going to be some good plays and there's going to be some plays if they have to get fixed. The big thing, as long as you're willing to be coachable and you're willing to learn and make the corrections, then that's all you can ask from those players. But all three players, honestly, between the five of them, they don't really say too much. So, it looks like they pay attention to Stingley. Stingley talks the least amount of anybody on the team, and I would say Higgs is a pretty quiet guy as well. But they're good kids. They work hard. They got a really good attitude. They want to be good at football. They put a lot into it. So, they're certainly making progress, and they're going to help us. They've helped us to this point, and the goal is that hopefully they can help us over the duration of the season. It's evolved, so anytime any of us are put in a position for the first time, you're going to have to deal with some ups and downs, and it's a learning process. So we've all been there. I've been there. Nick's going through it. You look around the league, there's a lot of coaches that go through that, but we'll probably have a better idea. It's making progress, so I wouldn't put a particular timetable on it. So I think over the next 3 or 4 weeks, probably get a little more information here, kind of see how he's progressing. But taking one day at a time. But I think once we kind of get to that period, probably have a better sense of which way it's going to go, for the duration of the year. He's played the position the way the position's supposed to be played, made good decisions, been efficient. He's completed 81% of his passes, hadn't turned the ball over. So the reality is, and he said, everybody gave him birthday wishes last week. He's 24 years old. He's still a young player. So even though he's played a lot of football, so you learn by doing, you learn by playing. Each year is going to be a little bit different. Each opponent is going to be a little bit different. A pretty good job. So we had some moving parts early in the season. I got hurt there Thursday before the Rams game, and we had to shuffle some things around. So I think the group that's been out there over the last however many weeks, they've played pretty good football. Ed's done a pretty good job. He's played really good football. Sometimes a change of scenery is good for everybody involved, probably in that situation. He's played good football. I don't know, he's like one of the top ranked guards in the league or something ridiculous. I'm not saying he's the best guard in the league, but he's played good football. So Titus has played competitively. Jake's done a good job. So, Lakin and Juice have kind of rotated in there a little bit at left guard. And I think the more that Tay has played, the better he's played. He's made some, call it younger player mistakes, which that comes with the territory, but it's a good kid, good attitude, builds on some of the things that he continues to do well. So, overall, the group has worked well together, making progress. Cole's done a pretty good job with that, so we're going to need everybody, try to continue to build our depth, which I would say, with Trent kind of going from the practice squad to the roster is really more a depth situation. He was off the roster, but, we felt like, all right, we had a roster spot, so, there wasn't any, shenanigans involved. I'm sure everybody's looking at it like, what the hell are these guys doing? But I think it was really, there wasn't more than meets the eye. It was just a simple matter of just roster, moving from one spot to the next.
Nick.
In a decent spot, so kind of recalibrate here this week, so should be a productive week for us. Really no different. The only difference is we're not playing this weekend, so kind of go through a normal week. The number of players that are in here today, getting treatment, working out, getting ready for tomorrow, practice tomorrow. Players will be off for 4 days, and they'll get ready to go for a really good Seattle team, following week. So I think this week it's kind of looking at some of the things we're doing, take a look ahead to Seattle a little bit, maybe even try to get a little bit further ahead, understanding we have a long week, then we're going to have a short week. So, season kind of divided up into quarters, so we're kind of called the first quarter of the season. So the next quarter on the horizon, and then there'll be a number of games there, and really kind of a mini break there once we get to Buffalo. So kind of keep moving along. I think the big thing from our perspective, continue to improve, making progress as a team, and that's where the focus should be. So a lot of football in front of us. Played decent the last couple weeks. I'll try to build on some of the things that we've talked